Welcome to our presentation on Tesla Motor Company. Together, Chris Allen, Anne Marie Higgins, and myself will share information with you about how the company was started and what exactly Tesla Motors is. They were founded in 2003 by a group of engineers in California. They were interested in producing an all-electric car. While an electric car sounds odd to some, they are actually quite amazing. They have instant torque, incredible power, and zero emissions. The company's hope was that with each new model, they would be slightly more affordable for the average person. The 5 founders for Tesla Motors are J.B. Straubel, Martin Eberhard, Ian Wright, Elon Musk, and Mark Tarpenning. Here in the first picture, you can see 2 of the co-founders, J.B. Straubel and Elon Musk. You can also see one of the Tesla cars in the background behind them. J.B. is the Chief Technical Officer for Tesla Motors. He grew up in Wisconsin and at the age of 14 found an electric golf cart abandoned at a junkyard. He decided to take it home and rebuild it. This was just the beginning of his fascination with energy and electric vehicles. Elon Musk is the chairman, product architect, and the CEO of Tesla Motors. He became the CEO in 2008, and just a year later in 2009, secured a partnership with Daimler, which is a German company that has a long-standing history in the automotive world. He is also known for his forward thinking, as well as being the person who invented PayPal. The founders got together and they decided to name the company after Nikola Tesla. This was an inventor that patented the AC induction motor back in 1888. The bottom picture here, you can see where the timeline begins in 1888, as this is where it all began in their minds. Other important events along the timeline are 2003, when they incorporated their business, 2008, when they launched their first Roadster, which was very successful, and 2010, when they had great success with the NASDAQ opening and closing per share. Then in 2012, they launched their first premium electric sedan, which was named the Model S. The management at Tesla believes in open and direct communication. There is very little bureaucracy or politics within their company. They believe if you have a question or you need an answer on something, that you go directly to the person that can provide that. There's not a lot of waste and a lot of time spent, trying to find people. They just go directly to the person that they know that they can get an answer from. They feel that this is much faster and more efficient, and it has been successful so far for them. Tesla Motors has shown their commitment to both ethical and social responsibility in the production of their cars. Their vehicles have zero emissions, which is not only incredible, but very important with the issues we are facing regarding our environment, as well as the issues surrounding global warming. Green technology is sought after by people worldwide. They've decided to embrace this and do all they can to produce a car that will be kind to the environment and still be efficient for the owner. The vehicles are also built with recyclable materials, and even the batteries are non-toxic and can be recycled through a certain process that they use. The materials the vehicles are built with are very slow to burn, and this is a very critical factor because if there's a car accident involving one of these vehicles, and it's a serious accident, this provides additional safety for the passengers. Tesla has a goal to open a new Gigafactory in Nevada in year 2020. This factory will have solar and wind power, which is another way of showing their social and ethical responsibilities. The factory will also bring 6,500 new jobs to the area, which will obviously have a great impact on the economy there. And all of these things are ways that the management at Tesla feel that they can help in bringing change for the good to the environment. While Tesla was founded in the US, it has expanded its marketplace to many global locations. You can see in the pie chart that it shows the various countries that Tesla has delivered to. They have delivered over 50,000 vehicles globally. Currently, they conduct business in North America, Asia, and Europe. The domestic marketplace was most successful for them in the beginning, but sales are growing in other countries now as well. Their Model S was the #1 sold vehicle in all of Norway in 2014, actually ranking above the Volkswagen Golf, which has always been the leader. Tesla is actually growing faster right now outside of the US than it is inside the US. They did break into the Chinese market back in 2013 when they opened their first sales office there, but the results were a little disappointing. However, they are seeming to catch on and be growing there now. Tesla's mission statement's very simple: to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. As you can see in the picture below, the car is at a charging station. While the subject of sustainable energy is at the forefront of many countries, Tesla takes this very seriously. They have made it their mission statement and continue to push for new technology to accomplish this. Here you see the SWOT analysis chart. On this slide, I will break down the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for Tesla Motors. The strengths are innovative technology, energy-efficient cars, free charging stations, good safety ratings, and no dealerships. Since cars are ordered and produced, there are no dealership nightmares. The #1 complaint from people purchasing new vehicles is the experience they have going into a dealership. This alleviates that process and makes buying Tesla look just a little bit better. Their main weakness is supply and demand. They struggle to produce the number of vehicles that people are ordering. Their Model X was due to release in 2013, but was not actually released until 2015. And they've missed almost every target date in the past so far. This is a bad thing when you have people investing that type of money, ordering cars, and then having to wait for extended periods of time. Another issue is the pricing of the car. These cars, most models are over $100,000, and that's not comparable to vehicles from other makers. The other weakness is time waiting for the car to charge. You cannot simply pull up to a gas station, pump your gas, and drive away. You have to actually connect it to the charging docking station and then wait the appropriate amount of time for the charge to take place before you can drive it. The opportunities to improve would be to continue to raise environmental awareness. Also, they have spoken of doing a mass hiring of veterans and bringing them on to work, and that would be another opportunity to really shine. The other thing that they have spoken about is just expanding their locations. They also have talked about their vision, wanting to continue to not just stay with what they're doing, but to actually move forward and even come up with brighter, newer ideas. The threats to the company would be competition, economic downturn, and unionization of the company. Recently, there's been rumblings from the workers wanting to unionize the company. And that's mainly due to the lower wages that Tesla pays and the longer hours, which is not a good thing for work-life balance. So I have finished my part, and I'm going to hand this off to Chris and allow him to finish with his piece.
The Human Resources Department of Tesla Motor Company is built upon the basis of analytics as opposed to emotions. In other words, the department is built upon data, things that you can quantify rather than based upon emotional blankets. To do this, they have filled the department with folks from various backgrounds. Just a few examples would be statisticians or economists. And the idea is they want to ensure it is a well-rounded group of people that help capture all the information necessary to help function and support the company as a whole. Arnab Gashuri also realized how important it is for every employee to feel that they are connected to the company and that they have a way to openly communicate their feelings and get in touch with other people in other departments so they can feel a part of what's going on, a part of the training and the recruiting and the company itself as a whole. So they wanted to really focus on increasing the employee experience. One way for them to do this is they created what they call the answer bar. The answer bar is a program where employees can walk directly up to HR staffers. So people who run the HR department can walk directly up to them and they can get direct answers to their direct questions. They can also do this through email. The HR department has at least 2 staffers during all shifts, 24 hours a day, whenever people are at work, so that they can engage directly with the HR department. They also, on a regular basis, conduct what they call engagement surveys. It's not a survey of what has happened because they feel that that does not apply to what is going on. So it is an ongoing discussion, an ongoing connection about ways to improve the company or fix this, that, or the other thing. And it's employees that come up with these things directly and provide them to the HR department, hopefully to make what they feel are improvements to the work experience. Ultimately, Tesla's theory with the HR department is it needs to be staffed with people who see what needs to be done, implement the strategies to get that done, and simply do it. Gashuri goes on to say in an interview, folks who are used to being told what to do or just want to do their jobs are not the people we want. We are looking for people who are comfortable with ambiguity. We want people who are okay with not knowing what tomorrow may bring, but who know they want to be a part of it and that they are going to have a chance to shape it. Let's take a few minutes and we're going to discuss the leadership model that Tesla uses for its operations. And basically it boils down to they don't believe in a traditional chain of command. Okay, people who are hired on are informed that the traditional command and control model that you usually are used to is something that does not fly at Tesla. They are not a company that believes in the direct chain of command. Tesla has actually even been known to remove managers who insisted their employees go through them first with problems or issues. They did this because Tesla believes that you should be able to reach anyone at any moment and any time in the company by phone, by email, or just simply walking over and starting a conversation. Therefore, they remove the barriers of the chain of command, and it's almost like a giant, one big giant team, essentially. They do have organizational structure to the company, though, and it is what they call a functional organizational structure. And it basically goes as follows. Tesla has broken leadership into 3 categories. One being the global hierarchy, followed by global centralization, and then regional divisions. So to quickly break down the global hierarchy, it is, of course, the CEO, the Chief Financial Officer, the Chief Technological Officer, and then that is followed by Vice Presidents, the Vehicle Engineering, the Powertrain Operations, and North American Sales. And then that's followed by a Chief Designer, which is then again followed by Vice Presidents of Manufacturing, Autopilot Hardware Engineering, and World Services and Deliveries. And then it also breaks it down into a General Counsel. Essentially, the global centralization is where all the decisions are made. It's where the information comes in, and it's Tesla's main headquarters, and they control operations from that one facility. And then it breaks down even just a little bit further into regional divisions, which basically those divisions run the local marketing and ad campaigns of the region that they're trying to reach. So whether it's China or the United States or Europe or whatever, it breaks down into that. And then followed by them, of course, would be your plant supervisors and managers, although they really don't have them, and then followed by the employees, the subordinates. We're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about motivation. Motivation for the employees specifically, and what Tesla believes the way they go about motivating their employees. And it comes down to this. It sums up in about one sentence. They believe that you need to be the kind of person your team can rely on. And that you need to be there when you're supposed to be there because they need you and they cannot get things done when you are not there. Okay, so do what you are supposed to do. They believe that if you want to be there and you want to be a part of the team and a part of the project, you will be there. And if you do not want to be there, then you simply need to move on. Tesla also broke down their handbook from about 57 pages long and condensed it to just over 3 pages to help hit this theory home. Okay, and even while you're there, of course they have an awesome break room filled with free drinks, snacks, and easy chairs for you to relax and just take a breath or a thinking break from the project or whatever it is that you happen to be involved in. Just remember that if you're going to work for Tesla, they expect you to be personally invested in the work that you do and to care about what you do. And that in itself is your motivation for being a part of a high-tech company. We touched briefly on Tesla's communications earlier in the human resources slide, and essentially it hasn't changed. From their lack of chain of command, there is very little bureaucracy or politics that go on in the company. And they believe that you work in different teams in different sections of the company, but they don't want you to be confined to that framework. Okay, they want you to feel that you can go to any member of any team and simply start talking to them, whether it's an email or by phone or simply walking over to them. They do not want title or status to get in the way of that line of open communication. This even means Mr. Musk, Tesla CEO, is available to you as well. You know, by phone or simply going to his office, he will take the time to chat with you. Now, when it comes to the decisions of Tesla, they go through Mr. Musk himself. Basically, you have to sell him on the idea or on the thought, and if he likes it, he will buy into that. And if he doesn't have the staff or the personnel to move that direction, he goes out and finds them to be able to facilitate his vision or the goal that he has in mind. And Mr. Musk was quoted in a magazine, and I think the decision-making process is summed up just on this quote here. I've got so many chips on the table with Tesla, it just made sense for me to have both hands on the wheel.
Despite Tesla's phenomenal growth in the past few years, the company is still one of the smallest auto manufacturers in the world. This means that unlike many of its competitors, Tesla cannot independently enjoy the same economies of scale. Tesla's business is to manage a supply chain where they coordinate a system of resources, information, activities, people, and organizations involved in moving raw materials into a finished product to deliver to their end customers. Currently, as reported in Tesla's quarterly report ending June 30th, 2016, they are producing and selling both the Model S sedan and the Model X sport utility vehicles. They expect that the demand for their vehicles will continue to increase worldwide as more people become aware of their vehicles. Today, Tesla continues to make progress in increasing vehicle product and plan to continue increasing total vehicle product to support approximately 50,000 deliveries in the second half of this year. In the second quarter of 2016, 18,345 vehicles, including about 62 Model X vehicles, were produced. Total production increased 18% from the first quarter. Tesla also expects managing the supply chain production by nearly 2,000 vehicles per week. The Model X production ramp has faced challenges, including supplier part shortages, yet they continue to make steady progress towards their goal. With continued improvements in production rates, they do expect to increase production to 2,200 vehicles per week at the end of third quarter and 2,400 per week by fourth quarter of this year. In order to meet the production goals, management plans on keeping themselves and their suppliers accountable to be ready for volume production in advance of the timing to meet the desired reported results. In the next several years, they want to increase production fivefold. In addition to expanding their vehicle productions and deliveries, they expect to continue to lower the cost of manufacturing in their vehicles over the next several quarters due to economies of scale, material cost reductions, and more efficient manufacturing. Tesla maintains strict standards in manufacturing and assembly operations facilities in its 2 California plants and in the Netherlands. They are also building a cell and battery manufacturing facility outside of Reno, Nevada to further reduce cost of materials and time of delivery. They are also reporting completing the launch of the first phase of the new high-volume paint shop, second body assembly shop, 2 new stamping lines, a second assembly facility, and an expansion of the battery pack and drive unit production lines. Tesla vehicles use over 3,000 purchased parts, which are sourced globally from over 300 suppliers. They have developed close relationships with several key suppliers, particularly in the procurement of cell and certain other key system parts. Tesla operations and controls in the manufacturing of their vehicles is disciplined process where they set standards for the type of products they will design. They closely monitor production output and deliver against measured results. When production is not meeting expectations of the company, they take action and make necessary changes to streamline processes to gain the efficiencies necessary to gain back lost momentum. Tesla embraces change and is innovative with core competencies of a powertrain engineering, vehicle engineering, innovative manufacturing, and energy storage. Today, vehicles incorporate the latest advances in consumer technologies such as mobile computing, sensing, displays, and connectivity. Furthermore, Tesla adheres to required regulations in connection with the production, delivery, and placement into service of zero-emission vehicles in global markets. And under the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, corporate average fuel economy standards, car and truck manufacturers are required to meet fleet-wide average fuel economy standards where Tesla earns credits. And the vehicles are subject to and comply with applicable United States federal motor vehicle safety standards. Before vehicles are imported or sold in the United States, numerous tests are conducted, such as crashworthiness avoidance requirements and electronic vehicle requirements, to name a few. Tesla's future growth is dependent upon consumers' willingness to adopt electronic vehicles. Their growth is highly dependent upon the adoption by consumer of alternate fuel vehicles in general, and electric vehicles in particular. If the market for electronic vehicles does not develop as expected, or develops more slowly than expected, then their business prospects, financial condition, operating results will be harmed. The market for alternative fuel vehicles is relatively new, rapidly evolving, and subject to numerous external factors, such as perceptions about electronic vehicle quality, safety, performance, cost, and the convenience of charging, perceptions about the limited range over which electronic vehicles may be driven on a single battery charge, the availability of other types of alternative fuel vehicles, including plug-in hybrid electronic vehicles, improvements in the fuel economy of the internal combustion engine, volatility in cost of oil and gasoline, government regulations and economic incentives, and access to charging facilities. No one knows the future, so we can only watch and see what the outcome of electronic vehicles may be, but in our assessment, they have a good chance piquing the interest of all environmentally conscious consumers. Thank you.